Well, I'm given the topic to speak on leadership development and executive coaching. But I would like to crave your indulgence that usually when we make a meal, they say the bottom part is usually for the highest and best value. If you didn't take anything home, I'd like you to pay a lot of rapt attention to what I'm about to say because people pay a multiple of millions to be in my session. And I want to give this session as value, as contribution to this program because I know that you might be privileged to pay, but everything happens in frequency. Everything happens in patterns. And I would not like to make sure you miss this moment because it's going to be very transformative. It's going to be the summary of everything that has been taught by past speakers, but I'm going to put them in an implementable form because I've been here as a student and I'm here now as a speaker. So I understand some of the things that were said, the implementation mechanism to get them done is quite tedious. It requires hard work and it requires a lot of soft work. I'm a believer of favor and labor. There is a place that you are now that labor will speak, but there is a place you are intending to be that you require favor. So it's going to be a mix of both favor and labor. Please tell your neighbor, wake up. Tell your neighbor, wake up. We're about to be transformed. So I've narrowed down my session to becoming a profitable and successful 21st century employer and employee in a global economy. Becoming a successful and a prosperous 21st century employer and employee in a global economy. I'm an academic. I have a PhD in view in finance and banking. But finance is a very unique subject because money is a reflection of your character. And it's so important that I speak on this subject because whether I'm functioning from the part of an employee or I'm functioning from the part of an employer, in life, everybody is looking for three things. The first thing, everybody wants to succeed. The second thing, everybody wants to be prosperous. And the third thing is that everybody wants to continuously succeed and continuously become prosperous. And that's why I've titled my session, Becoming Successful, Prosperous in the 21st Century as an Employer or Employee. Because I understand that this audience is a combination of four people. One, we have investors seated here. Two, we have business owners seated here. Three, we have managers seated here. And four, we have employees also seated here. So I'm not here to teach you anything because teaching is actually useless when you are not in a position to learn. Many a times we attend conferences and workshops like this, and a lot of people come to share their opinion and thoughts. And at the end of the day, when we go home, we stack these notes and we don't go back to those notes to improve ourselves. And by the end of the day, we end up becoming containers rather than becoming people that have been put, that power has been put into them to give their life the meaning, value, and use that we ought to or should demonstrate in our social space. So I'm here to raise a lot of questions. I'm not going to use my slide. I'm here to raise a lot of questions. The first question is, what is success? Everybody seems to talk about the subject matter of what is success. Everybody seems to have a unique opinion about the subject matter of success. So I'll be looking at success from four dimensions. The first dimension is what is success at a personal level? What is success as from the corporate level? What is success to you from the team level? And what is success to you from the larger society perspective? As a person, what do you define success as? As a corporate organization, what have you defined success to be? As a team lead or a manager that is responsible for other employees, what have you said success is? The next question is, when you go home at the family level or at the church level or as a citizen of this country, what do you think success is? Or what does success ought to be or should be in these various dimensions that I've mentioned? The next question is, success, it's a science and it's also an art. Have you been able to sit down and diagnose the processes or the methodology for how you intend to succeed as an employee, a manager, a business owner, or an investor? Success is an act. It's behavioral. The last speaker talked about branding yourself. But I want to underscore the key point about this is that nobody can perform more than their self-image. Because your self-image will breed your self-esteem. Your self-esteem will breed your self-confidence. Your self-confidence has its roots in your self-talk. And you cannot become self-reliant if you don't have these elements in place. So success is a subject matter of principle. And my late mentor, which is still living, Miles Morris, if you listen to Miles Morris' teachings, you'll be able to discern the principles of success are so easy but very difficult to practice. Do you know that the most simple things that will make you succeed are usually very, very difficult for you to practice or rehearse? But the things that are complex are very easy for you to do. The simple things of life that will accelerate or elevate you as an employee, a manager, a business owner, or an investor, they are difficult to do. But the things that are complex are very easy for anyone to do. So average people do things that are complex. But people that are outliers and those people that are playing at the 1% level or the 9% level, they dedicate themselves to doing things that are simple. Yes, I've been on the earth for approximately 40 years. And I know that if you take my age group and ask 10 of us on a queue to ask the 10 of us, please, do you have a life plan? Do you have a corporate plan? Do you have a national plan? Or do you have a country plan? Nigeria has only planned 3 times in its existence. Nigeria as a country has only planned for the nation 3 times. And I know that as a people, if I took stock and start asking, do you have a life plan? Many of you will say, I have it in my head. Some of you have forgotten. Some of you can no longer even remember the imperative things that you have in place that will be your driving force towards becoming successful. So success requires principle. And these principles are fixed. You cannot violate them. They are inherent in nature. And if you don't obey them, you can never succeed. So, there are 8 simple principles about success. The first principle of success is the subject matter of discovering your essence. Any individual that wants to succeed as an employee, an employer, a business owner, or an investor, you must discover your purpose. The implication of you discovering your purpose is rooted in your essence. And essence is essential. It's a necessity. It's basic and it's fundamental. You move to the next. Every person that have ever succeeded in their career, in business, or in the economic space, as we know, must be a visionary. You must have the ability to create what is possible out of the impossibilities that you are being faced with. To be a visionary is for you to look at an impossible situation and come up with solutions out of the problems that you are being faced with to create a desired state rather than being trapped in your current state. How visionary are you? Somebody said something that most employees look for what they will earn. Every time I stand and I try to interview prospective employees, I ask them that simple question. Never emphasize the point of what I'm going to earn. Emphasize the point of what I'm going to become. Think of both. What do I want to become and what do I want to earn? Because there's a connection between what you want to become and what you want to earn. You need to have some level of insight, foresight, and hindsight. I move to the next. You must develop your potential. As an individual, the law of potentiality cannot be overemphasized. What is your potential? It is your talent. It is your gifts. It is your skill. It is your knowledge. It is from the place of potential you discover what is called your strengths. For every strength, there is an inherent weakness. That's why we do what we call SWOT analysis. As an individual, you must rise up to the occasion where you are able to build your ability, your capability, and your capacity as an employee, a manager, a business owner, or an investor. Ladies and gentlemen, ability matched with opportunity, you are already in business. So it is very important you obey those laws. I'll move to the next because potentiality and actualized potentials are two different concepts. So as somebody that is willing to drive a process to become somebody that is outstanding, K.O. Baba has talked about that. Somebody that is different. Somebody that can be a value creator or a wealth creator in this space. You must understand your potential because you cannot perform beyond your potentiality. But your potential is growable. It can change. So you must focus on changing your potentiality. Everything in life is learnable. You must look for a coach that is in the place and the position to grow you. As important as it is, I'll move to the next. You must remember that in life, you need self-motivation. You must motivate yourself first before you can secure the motivation of a second and third party. As an employee, nobody needs to wake you up. You should know when you are supposed to wake. In Nigeria, if the government wants to do a drive for tax, let them institutionalize late coming, that anybody that shows up late will pay a tax. Let's call that tax for late arrival. You will see that the government will rake a lot of what? Revenue. Because we are not prompt. We don't have the attitude for urgency. We don't have the attitude for us to be prompt and urgent. We feel that we are existing in eternity, not knowing that we are existing in time. And this, our engagement within the cosmic, where we call Earth, is temporary. Time is temporary. It is not permanent. We all have, Nigerian statistics shows that we have life expectancy rates. The pension people will help us. It's about 75 years. So if you're already 40, there's a notice that in 35 years you should die. That is it. By natural, or let me call it, by natural or statistical finding, by facts, the bankers, pensioners, insurance have come up. Every nation has its life expectancy rate. It is your notice for death. If you have crossed 50, you have 25 years to live. If you are 60, the next 50 years. Take a stock of anybody that is above 50 years. They have either lost their mom or lost their dad. It's a statistics. And it is natural. I'm in that place with you. I have someone that is 60. I lost my dad. It's a notice. So you need to be deliberate about what you're doing. We move to the next. The law of planning and plan. Now, I'm going to spend a lot of time on this session. It is very important. Planning is not plan. And plan is not planning. Planning has to do with your thinking. In every business that is being run, whether in the private sector or in the public sector, there are 4 individuals that make up that business. The first is the employee. The second is the manager. The third is the business owners. And the fourth is the people that provide the funds for those businesses to run. Each of these boxes that you see is a game of class. The term employee is outdated. It is going into extinction. Nobody ever told you that. Businesses are now looking for partners. They are looking for collaborators. They are looking for co-ownership. So if you say you want to use the concept of the 18th, 17th, and 19th century to function in the 21st century, you're missing it. I'm not a fan of anybody being an employee. Have you checked the root word of what employee means? Have you checked the root word for what employee means? Please, it's a good place to begin, but it's not a good place for you to stay. You have to grow up and you have to change. Your thinking is one thing that puts you in that class. You don't think salary. Some of you think that there is the same thing between a job and a job role. Some of you miss the concept. You say you're an employee, you have not taken time to clarify concepts. What is a job? What is my job role? What is a career? What is work? If I ask a question now, what is work? How is work different from your job? How is job different from your essence? You don't even know because you don't spend time in investing in yourself. You want somebody else who are living based on the handout of other people's thoughts to you. You've not taken time to sit down and crack the code. Life has a code. It is built on structures and systems. You must understand and unravel the mysteries so that you can become the master of life. Let me move to the next point. The next point talks about something that is very important. Life is not built for it to be easy. Life is built for it to be simple. You don't know the difference between simplicity and difficulty. So most people think that life ought to be easy. Check the word. What is easy? Anything that is easy is not valuable. Life is simple, but it is not easy. Yes, because your creator invented the subject matter called work. You must have to work it out. And it takes you to wear the cap of thinking. You must build your ability to act. You must build your ability to be in a place of habituation to manifest the expectation that you already hold as an individual. So you must go back to the drawing board. That is why we have what is called the law of persistency. You must show conviction and commitment. You must be willing to match conviction with commitment as an employee. You must show up with strength. You must show up with energy. You must show up with a sense of execution. You must show up with a sense of effort. Ladies and gentlemen, the man is already harassing me for time. I needed to talk to you about what is the concept of a 21st century. You can't be in a 21st century and be living as if you are in an 18th century. You can't be in the 21st century and be living like you are trapped in the 19th century. No. You need to understand the law of persistency and you need to understand the law of perseverance. There is nothing absolutely out of place for someone to feel that they can be successful without one word. That word is called power. So I've mentioned 3 laws. The law of persistency, the law of perseverance, and the law of power. Power is the ability for you to do work. Ladies and gentlemen, power requires concentration. It requires focus. It requires you to be objective. It requires you to set goals. It requires you to be a decision maker. It requires you for you to be a thinker. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm a substance speaker. Everything that I'm saying have been applied by me at different stages of my life. And I'm not coming to motivate you. It is not like the way you heard it. I'm only trying to clarify conception. You live in a global world. You have not taken time to know what is the difference between globalization and modernization. Some of us see a lot of things that are bad. We call it modernism. What is modernism? Have you taken time to clarify that concept? What is globalization? So your competitors are no longer Nigerians. They are fellow Chinese. They are Lebanese. They are Italians. They are Germans. They will take your work from China. People are in China working in Nigeria. It is now a possibility. So you must strive up to the occasion to become a person of excellence, to become a person of quality, to become a performer and a productive person. Ladies and gentlemen, I would have talked about the issue of the law of prosperity, but Claudia have carried the red card. The man is by me. I did not know what to say, but I was disadvantaged because I was the last speaker. But not to worry. There are other sessions that we're going to have. But it's good that I just underscore the principles to prosper, because I've found a gap. Please, just 2 minutes. A lot of employees don't know how to be profitable to their employers. And it is good that I speak on that, because I usually teach about success. But I've broken the code to understand that every employer is looking for a profitable staff. Now, to be profitable is either you're a profitable person to your business or you're a loss center. So ask your neighbor, are you a profitable center or a loss center? Please take it serious. Are you a profitable center or a loss center? The same thing I spoke about success. What is profit? You need to know. Most people harass the church that they teach about prosperity, but they have not taken out time to understand what is the concept of prosperity. Because most people think that the narrow view that they have about being profitable or prosperous is focused on financial prosperity. But there is family prosperity, there is health prosperity, there is career prosperity, there is business prosperity. Do you get me? Prosperity is about the concept of being fruitful. It's about the concept of flourishing. The vice for the virtue called prosperity is barrenness or loss. So, should I be barren or should I be profitable? Profitability is a science and an art. It has principles and it has behavioral tendency. Now, there are 8 principles to be a prosperous employee or a prosperous employer. The first principle to be a prosperous employee or employer is called the law of economy. Somebody say, the law of what? Economy. Not economy as you know it by demand and supply. I'm talking about your mental capital. I'm talking about your character. You cannot purchase anything in the inner world without the word economy. Your mental capital is so important, and your character is so important in the journey of becoming prosperous. The big question is, what is character? I define character as the purchasing power of your destiny or your desired destination. You cannot get to your desired destination or capture your destiny without you developing character. The second law is the law of energy. Energy. Nothing gets done without energy. Everything you want to do requires energy. The third law is called the law of integrity. The fourth law is called the law of impartiality. To cheat someone is not in the flesh, it's done in the heart, it's done in the soul. Attitude is a subject matter of the heart. Love is a subject matter of the heart. Passion is a subject matter of the heart. If you are not passionate about your job, you cannot be prosperous in that job. It is a fixed principle. You cannot violate it. There's another law that is called the law of system. As an employee, you are trading your time for money. That's slavery. Because your time is bigger than money. You need to build system. The fifth law is called the law of compassion. You must be compassionate. You must not be selfish. You must see things from your employer's point of view and also see things from your employee point of view. This is so important. How many laws have I mentioned? The law of economy, the law of energy, the law of integrity, the law of impartiality, the law of system, the law of what? Sympathy. There's another law that is called the law of self-reliance. You must stand up with these 7 laws. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to end at this point. But if you know you want to get more of this, you can contact the organizers of this project. I want to give a free scholarship. If you're a business owner that is running any MSME and you're having issues with setting up your system, or you're interested in personal development and empowerment, I would like to get your names. Please, you write down just for 10 people. I don't want any unserious person. Me, I can shout, oh, I'm an executor. I can be very ruffled up because as a coach, I will make you do what you don't like.